Hi, everybody. My name is Pat Dixon, and I gill netted for sockeye salmon in Cook Inlet, Alaska for 20 years. Lived up there for 23, taught in the wintertime and fished in the summer. And I've been lucky enough to be involved with Fisherpoets for 23 years. So this first one is in honor of the Fisherpoets gathering. I wrote this about the Fisherpoets gathering several years ago. Thought I'd start off with it. It's called Fisher Poem. I slide into this crowded bar like I'd ease a boat into a slip. The river is crowded tonight. Fisher poets ride these aisles like currents, tying up to booths, dropping anchors on bar stools. They open journals like hatch covers, unsure of how the catch compares. How many brailers does the rest of the fleet have tonight? How many pounds? Maybe I'll wait till deliver till morning when no one else is watching. But morning comes and no one cares. We drink beer, watch the show, and listen. The stories fill the air like jumpers. Words weave to catch them on nets hung deep. Ears cock for the sound of a splash. Eyes narrow, looking for hits. And then here comes the next set, and a poet picks up the microphone. Static over the radio, the bar chatter fades. Whispered verses lift us, riding on the back of a swell. The VHF just said a boat went down with all hands. Sunrise lit the mountain tops, the color of salmon. That halibut hook sunk deep into the side of his hand. The lights of the fleet looked like fallen stars. Pea soup. She went over when we weren't looking. A slip of a boot on a wet deck becomes a slip of the tongue, and this place fills with salt water. The speaker pauses, hangs up the mic, and walks away without a look. In a moment, all hell will break loose, and we'll live it again in the telling. But as the story lands on the dock, solid and hard, we can sense the slightest change in the engine, feel the gentlest breeze, hear our own heartbeat in the distance, in the waves. Thank you. This next one is for my first skipper. I worked for him for 2 years before I bought in, and he passed away a little over a month ago. His name was Jim Evenson. He was a good man. This is called Boat Puller. We were alone on the boat, a green deckhand and a middle-aged Norwegian, riding emerald rollers sprinkled with drops of gold in the late afternoon sun. And though you were teaching me how to get a salmon out of the bag without popping the mesh, I was somewhere else. Off the stern, I saw myself, neck deep in Indiana, floundering in all those years of not knowing who I was or how to escape who I had become. Drowning in aching nights, spent hoping for the moment I might know a way to set my feet upon a path of my own. While I was picking fish with you, stunned at the sight of the sea so near and the mountains filling the western sky, I thought of dry Midwestern cornfields and of lost empty days filled with a wish to leave, but nowhere to go. You bent over a red to show me how to use a fish pick, never realizing what was happening to me, how you were stripping away the web of my past life, pulling me through to solid ground. And then here's one more. I've recently written a memoir with the title for this piece. It's called Waiting to Deliver, about the 20 years I fished. Still shopping it around, hoping that somebody will snag it up. So, but this one is in the book. It's called Waiting to Deliver. On the good day, when boats return home, low in the water, holds full, nets wrapped around salmon rolled on the reel. After picking half the net and laying it back out while the fish keep hitting, then running to the other end and doing it again all day long. No time for breaks, a sandwich, or even water. Your face, beard, and glasses streaked black by gurry, dotted white with scales, back aching, fingers and wrists sore. You find energy reserves, threads of adrenaline, buried deep, sustain you till you've made the run home and toss a line to the boat you tie behind, the last of a dozen hanging off the port stern, next to a matching group tied to the starboard side of the tender, taking fish anchored in the middle of the river. This day of donkey work, this day of absolution, isn't over, won't be for hours. At the back of the queue, you know you'll be here past dinner, past dark, maybe past dawn. You'll eat a baked potato and a red salmon garnished with lemon, onion, and butter, less than 2 hours from the time you plucked it alive from the sea. You'll wash it down with a cold beer from the cooler, watch the sunset, and think how this is the best, most complete life you can imagine. Salt air cools as shadows lengthen, and the water changes from blue to black. You trade bunk time with your deckhand and fall asleep before your head hits the pillow. The smack of a boat hook on the bow wakes you both as the next boat in line cuts you all loose to go deliver, and those of you still tethered together like a serpent in the glare of arc lights work to move up, fighting the current, pulled and yanked off course by boats fore and aft, bumping throttles forward, neutral, reverse, trying not to ram the one ahead of you, hoping the one behind you does the same. Your deckhand fends off as you swing too close to the vessels sleeping to starboard, until the lead boat tosses a line around the tender's cleat again, and you all slide back in the current like a sigh. Engine after engine goes silent. Lines creak around the cleats as they stretch taut. Your crew slips into the bunk while you settle back in the skipper's chair, light a smoke, and sip a cold cup of coffee. You're still waiting to deliver. Thank you. Thanks to National Fisherman, Jessica Hathaway. Appreciate being here.